Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction and entertainment industry. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And apparently Crystal is choking.
No, not yet.
Okay. But regardless, we are happy to be here on a Monday again, on a proper day. The natural order has been restored.
Oh, no it hasn't. It's time change this weekend. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's true. Theoretically, we could publish on Tuesday and it would still be Monday. No, we're not going to do that. No. But anyways, yes, indeed, it is time change. We are opening a yarn store in less than a week. Nothing is right in the world. I completely agree. But hey, if you want to do us a favor, definitely try to catch us at all the places we exist. Find us at hauntweekly.com, hauntweekly on Twitter, facebook.com/hauntweekly, and youtube.com/hauntweekly. We're in all those fine places, as well as wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow along particularly closely at the Facebook page. We will probably be making an announcement soon about at least doing some live streams again.
Okay, yes.
We have a new potential space to do it in. And
yeah.
But the space needs to get set up with internets.
Yes.
It is not set up with any internets yet. So once it's set up with internet, we're going to start thinking about and planning getting more, doing some live streams again. You'll learn about that at facebook.com/hauntweekly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is, like last week we did like the briefest overview of the 2022 season.
Yeah.
And anyone who remembers an episode when we were here when we were open will know we're going to get a lot of mileage out of the season.
Yeah, sorry. You're going to be hearing about
sorry,
us for
not
a while.
sorry. But yeah, we're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. But but the point is, this week we're talking about 7 new things that we did, or new to us, that we are definitely keeping from the 2022 season.
Yes.
This should be a lot of fun. Now, well, as we'll discuss in a minute, there's going to be a partner to this episode, but we'll get to that in a minute. First thing is first, the question of the week.
Yes.
Last week we asked everyone a simple question: how did your season go? And we got a lot of replies.
We did.
A lot of replies.
Y'all like to talk about yourselves.
Yeah.
Just like we do, apparently.
We only do it an hour.
Maybe it's a haunter
week.
thing.
but yeah.
Anyway, we asked how'd your season go, and everyone seemed to be really well.
You know, that was the main point of it, was to kind of take a barometer reading, if you will. And I was a little worried going into this because, especially like late September, early October, we got a lot of reports and messages about violence and issues. And there was a whole controversy at, where was it? Not Scary Farm.
Yeah.
That caused them to make some changes to their policy there. And we've been hearing about an uptick in violence against actors and issues in queue lines and things like that. And we started going to haunts, and we never got that vibe anywhere we went.
No.
There was no violence energy, if you will. And I know that's not everything, because violence can happen and things can pivot on a dime. But I never felt that energy. And I didn't feel it here in New Orleans, and I didn't feel it in Biloxi when we traveled. Mobile, yeah. Didn't feel it in Mobile. Didn't feel it anywhere that we went. So I was cautiously optimistic we would not have it at our haunt.
No.
We did not. Everyone was well behaved outside of one person at the very, very end.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even necessarily a violence thing.
No, that's kind of a tradition at this point. Because there's a guy who lives in the neighborhood. He comes by every year.
I wasn't even talking about that.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the kid that snuck in.
What?
At the very end.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Basically what
Apparently, I don't even know about this.
Basically what happened is, with Halloween night, we're really close to 10. We're like 5 minutes away. We get a group out. The queue line is empty. So Farrell and I, we go up and we say goodbye to the group and we chat them up a little bit, because now we can do that, right? And apparently, as we got past the front of the house, a kid whose family was nowhere nearby snuck behind us, ran into the haunt, going up the exit line, ran into the haunt, and messed with Rory. I haven't watched the footage, but apparently touched her, but not like violently. Even if it was violent, this was a kid. This was not anyone that's doing damage. But anyways, we had to throw the kid out and explain to his family that not welcome back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah, I had not heard this story. Okay.
Yeah, that happened. It was one of the last things that happened Halloween night.
Well,
but anyways,
that's a shitty thing to do.
But your season is the question of the week, and we have some great answers here. Tim Fowler said it was his first season going pro/charity. He says he definitely learned a lot, and I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Chris Gay had nearly 2.6 thousand guests in a town of 6.3 thousand.
I'm going to say that's a sign that you're getting people coming from elsewhere.
Yeah, and I know this because another home haunt in their area had about those exact numbers.
Yeah. So, Pat Davis of South Bay Nightmare said they didn't have as many people as they'd hoped, but are planning on doubling the size of the haunt next year.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a fairly big haunt. I could tell it was a fairly new haunt when we went, because this was all part of that Mobile trip. You can go back to that episode. But yeah, long story short, too late. Yeah, so they're planning on doubling the size of the haunt, which is interesting.
And finally, for this week, Kevin Hopkins said guest numbers were down, but sales numbers were up due to Fast Pass and merch sales.
And y'all, I just want to throw out a hell of an I told you so here. Because how fucking long have I been harping on this exact thing about the need for price differentiation, offering upsells, and things like that? They had an actual head count go down.
Yeah.
But profits went up.
Yes.
Revenue went up. That is the magic of price differentiation, everyone. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, it is wonderful. So, yeah. Listen to me. If you don't listen to me, listen to Kevin.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week's question of the week: what lessons are you taking away from the 2022 haunt season?
And what are you keeping specifically?
Yeah, what are you keeping? What are you going to adopt and continue next year that you did for the first time this season? Mm-hmm. Like basically what we're talking about here.
Yeah, we're cheating.
Yeah, we're cheating. To that end, though, we were supposed to do conference reminders. I think we should pick that up with the next news episode.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There aren't really... Well, other than... go to legendaryhaunttour.com.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. That's the only upcoming one. Everyone's too tired for fucking conferences right now. I don't know why. But anyway, other than Legendary Haunt Tour, 2Ts.com. Yeah, check them out. Mm-hmm. So, work we did on our haunt. Mm-hmm. We actually did do work.
Yes, we did.
And we learned something about previous us that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So
we have to preface this
a lot.
We have to give backstory.
Baby got backstory.
Exactly. That was the title of an episode at one point.
Yes, it was.
So at one point we lived in a different house.
Yes.
And it had no closets.
Yeah, it was a traditional New Orleans shotgun. That is to say, it was 4 rooms in a line, and that was it.
Yeah.
Box.
Yeah, it was a terrible layout for a haunted house. But we
didn't do the haunt in there. We did the haunt on the front porch.
I know that. But I was just saying it would be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, we had no closets, so my dad built me one. Mm-hmm. It is a 7-foot tall,
about 4 foot wide.
About 4 foot wide coffin closet.
At its widest, yeah. It's a legit coffin closet. Yeah. Not a casket closet, a coffin closet.
Yeah.
It's tapered.
Uh-huh.
And it weighs somewhere. I think there are objects that astronomers study that weigh less.
Yeah.
It is very, very heavy. I would say it's probably tipping the scales at well over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I think it's heavier than either of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was wonderful. We had it in that place, and we actually used it in the haunt in 2005, and then again, 2000. I'll wait until about 2008. We used it inside the haunt.
Yeah. If nothing else, for just like a prop that you walk around.
Yeah. It was great for prop based layout because it was so big and so heavy.
Yeah.
You can send people on a path around it easily. because the thing is, when we moved to this house in 2007, we didn't have a need for it. This house is a more modern one. It was built in the 60s. It has closets. Yeah. It has actually very ample closets, surprisingly, for a house with the world's tiniest full bathroom.
Yeah, I know.
But it has very nice closets. So we stuck it in the haunt. And then when we didn't need it in the haunt, we put it in storage in the haunt. And it has been in storage since probably about 2009, 2010.
Yeah. And by storage, we mean we stuck it in the corner at the back. And then put a wall in front of it.
Which apparently we didn't attach to anything. Because apparently what we did is we built this frame exactly the size we needed. To the millimeter from the looks of it. And then just wedged it in there.
I'm positive there was a rubber mallet involved in getting this frame in place.
There absolutely was. And we had thought, honestly, it was just a regular panel and we'd screwed it in like all the others. No. No bracket, no screws, nothing. It was just literally held in by the force of it being a tight fit in the wishes of small children. Yeah. And it had been there for like 10 years or so. That section has largely been unchanged in terms of the layout, not the look, but the layout has been largely unchanged. So, yeah, it has been there. It didn't go anywhere. No. In our defense, it never was an issue.
No.
But we finally got the coffin closet out and took it to Ellie's yarn store. Yeah. Where it is finding a new life.
It is. I'm
going to explain.
Yeah, I'm going to be finishing it first. Like, I'm giving it an upgrade. Because it's taken a little abuse over the years.
We need some stains, some trim.
Yeah, I'm going to make it pretty for the store. Because even though it'll start out to where you can't see it, it will eventually be in a room with a glass in the door so that you can see into it. And that is going to be the dyeing room. Yeah. DYEING, because I am going to learn how to dye yarn.
Yep. We're dyeing yarn. It's going to be rainbow coffin dyeing, I think was the label we came up with. But
I like Chris Coffin's dye. Chris's coffin dye.
Yeah, that can work too. But basically, dyeing, coffin, there's just a lot of...
Yeah, it was always going to be the dyeing room.
Yeah. That was always a thing. That was in the plans even before we found this space, was to have a dyeing room. So yeah, it's in there now. It will have a new life. And now the back corner of our haunt is missing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird because it's like a lot of space back there that I had forgotten about.
Yeah, we have 625 square feet, but one of the things we always have had is about 6 feet from the back wall toward the center and about 6 feet from the left-hand wall toward the center have been taken up with walls that give us storage and hide garage things like it hides, for example, our washer and dryer.
Yeah, washer, dryer, hot water heater,
things like that.
A sink. We used to use that sink.
Yeah, in the hall,
Yeah. As a
fountain. Yeah. Stop it up, run water, and get some pumps. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, we've opted to cover it up, and I don't know. We'll think about it. But
maybe a window.
Maybe. I think for me, the point is, though, we actually took apart part of the haunt to get this out of there. And that does free up some significant square footage if we want to put it to use for something else. So, yeah, it was seriously a challenge to move because this thing, like I said, is 300 pounds and is 7 feet tall. We managed to get it out of the garage, out of the haunt, into a rented van, a U-Haul van, and to the yarn store, and then snake it all the way to the back of the goddamn store where the dyeing room is.
Yeah, in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, we did it fast, and we were incredibly tired, and then we had to go from there to getting a goddamn display case. And oddly enough, the display case was a relief compared to the coffin closet.
Yeah.
The display case was about half the weight, despite being bigger from a...
Yeah, my dad does not know how to build things that do not last.
Well, and like another example is what we're recording on. We're in my office.
Yeah.
He made the desk I use for day-to-day, and I've used it as my day-to-day desk since at least 2000. No, 2000. I think I stopped there.
2002.
Yeah,
I think we moved to New Orleans 2002.
Yeah, I think it was 2002, 2003. So yeah, 20 years this desk has held up fine. One of the doors is broken.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's held up great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it ain't going anywhere.
No.
It weighs 8 gajillion fucking pounds. And he even made it in 3 parts. That'll be easy to move. It's in 3 parts. Yeah, one of the parts alone weighs probably almost 150 pounds.
I don't know about that, but
this section?
Yeah, that probably does actually. That is very
because
heavy
the top
wood.
is one part. The entire, because it's an L-shaped desk, the long side of the L and the short side of the L are 2 separate pieces, and then there's the goddamn bookshelf that goes with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways.
Yes, but it is a very loved desk.
It is a very loved desk, and I've been enjoying it. It needs some touch-up paint, pretty bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about that. But yeah, that's what we've been doing on the haunt, is basically tearing out a wall that wasn't apparently screwed into anything. And beyond that, we're just continuing weatherproofing and getting ready to tear down the art display, or at least a lot of it.
Yeah. And when we're not doing that stuff, we're working on the store that's going to possibly open its doors for the first time. Friday.
Yeah, this week. She's hoping to have kind of a super soft open.
Yeah. On
Veterans Day, the 11th, and a real opening on Small Business Saturday is the plan.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways. Back to the 2020 season.
Okay.
Let's get back on track here. The 2020 season for us, it was incredible. It was our first time back since 2018. We finally got to show off the haunt that we'd pretty much finished by early 2019.
Yeah.
However, we did try a lot of new stuff. Some of it worked really, really, really well.
Yes.
Some of it, less so. We'll talk about that next week. So we're doing 2 episodes. First, we're talking about the things we tried and are keeping. And then we're going to talk about the things that we are changing and fixing. Not all those are going to be brand new.
Right.
Some of those are going to be things we now realize we've got to fix for one reason or another. But yeah, we're starting with the positives, the flukes, and I think we're going to start with the yard display.
Yes.
So lead us off, Crystal.
All right. So in the yard display, the real hero of this year's story are 4-foot green metal garden stakes.
They're either called garden stakes or temporary fencing stakes, depending upon who's selling it and where they're putting it.
Yeah.
You might find it in gardening. You might find them in fencing. We found it in both places over the course of trying to get all we can get. Yeah.
Before we take it down, we should really get some good photos of it, both in the daylight and at night. Because we have a skeleton haunted house as part of the display, and then random themed stuff in front of it. And then the light tunnel. The light tunnel this year is all new also. It's all PVC. We noticed that the light tunnel was a little wobbly, so we put some stakes there. The haunted
stakes plus zip ties.
Yeah. The haunted house did not look as wobbly, so we left it alone. And then the winds came.
Well, and then the winds came from the correct direction, I think, was what happened. Because it had taken higher winds. But I think it came right face on. And the entire skeleton haunted house just flew over onto its back. It just got up.
Yeah.
And we tried to salvage it, but we couldn't. So we had to take it all apart and put it all back together. But when we did, we staked the ever-loving shit out of it using these yardsticks. Yeah. And what happened is, for the next 3 weeks, it didn't move in spite of some pretty significant winds a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And not as much as a single pipe popped out. It moved so little.
Yeah.
These things had, such a great amount of support is incredible. They can be used to stake skeletons and things like that by themselves.
Yes.
But we're primarily using it in conjunction with the PVC. Because this makes the PVC rigid and keeps them from wiggling out of the ground, and the PVC gives us the height. But we're also looking at getting larger stakes.
Right, because they come in 6 foot.
Yeah. Now, the problem is the price is not linear.
The price is not linear, and they're a lot bigger.
Yeah.
They are huge.
They're taller, but they're twice as thick.
And wide.
Yeah. They're huge.
Yeah. Compared to the 6 foot ones.
The 4 foot ones, yeah.
The 4 foot, yeah. Sorry.
Now, the 4 foot ones have 1 foot to go in the ground, so they are vertical 3 feet.
Yeah.
But those have done such amazing work this year. Just the 4 foot ones.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to be using those. Those are going to be very crucial in making any structures we make stay.
Yeah.
I did not realize how important these would be. But yeah, these yardsticks, they're not much money. The 4-foot ones are. The 5-foot ones are significantly more.
Yeah.
But we're going to buy them, I think, along and along.
Yeah.
And in fact, we may pick up a fair amount come spring when they're likely to go on sale for gardening.
Exactly.
Because I think we're going to use those as our primary means of staking skeletons.
Yes, because in the dark, you can't see them.
Mm-mm.
And it looks like the skeletons are standing by themselves.
Yeah.
This is also something that I noticed on the way home from work. The skeleton house on St. Charles has switched to these same stakes for their skeletons.
Yeah, they were like us doing a mixture of PVC and other piping.
Yeah.
And they seem to have switched to the stakes because they're so easy. Just 1 foot, put them into the ground, as long as the ground's soft.
Yeah.
We did have the unusual problem in New Orleans that we had a bit of a drought in early October.
Yeah.
So the ground actually got fucking rock hard, which is weird in this city.
It is.
That never happens in New Orleans. But we're rained up now. I think we're caught back up on the rain.
Shit. But yeah, so we had to like bang them in with a rubber mallet.
But yeah, but they were great either way. But
yeah.
I honestly those stakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think really were the star of the show outside.
Yeah, and if you're in a high wind area, this is a solution to look into for you.
Yeah, I really would, and I would especially keep eyes open for taller ones, because like you said, they're beefy boys. Mm-hmm. those 5-foot ones, and they do make them up to 6 feet. They're beefy, mm-hmm. quite beefy. And they whatever you stake to it will stay the fuck put. I promise.
Yep.
If you do it right, it will stay the fuck put. Because one of the stakes, for example, we had one of the skeletons in the skeleton haunted house was pretend tangled in yarn.
Yeah.
And what we did for it is we just put one of those stakes in the ground, mm-hmm. got the skeleton like upside down at a weird angle, mm-hmm. zip tied him to the pole. So now the skeleton's no contact with the ground.
Nope.
And just wrapped yarn around him and threw yarn everywhere.
Yeah, and we did that before the structure fell the first time, and it was still standing there. He was
wondering what the big fucking deal was.
Yeah, like, why are y'all
panicking? What's going on? Yeah. I can't see behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that turned out to be an amazing. These stakes, I don't know why we haven't done them more sooner, and I think part of the reason is we were using metal poles, which.
That's part of it, but I think also part of it was that, like, a few years ago, in 2018, we did not have the funds we have now.
That's true.
I don't think we could have paid $5 a stake or whatever.
I forgot what, I think it's like $7 a stake at Walmart.
I don't know.
But, and that's not much per stake, but we needed like 20 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And, $140 for a display out of pocket, somehow, some seasons, that could have been a real fucking problem.
Exactly. But since the haunt had been finished for 3 years, practically.
And we're doing better financially.
Yeah.
We could just yeet the money at it and continue eating a little money at it.
Exactly.
Like I said, those were just amazing, and I'm going to sing their praises until I'm sore in the throat. But we got to move on. Number 2, also the art display related.
Yes.
Fence privacy fabric. Holy shit, why didn't we think of this before?
Okay.
I
don't know.
In years past, we've done the old haunter trick of using weed blocker.
Yep.
Weed blocker is, it's both expensive and inexpensive at the same time. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's kind of hard to describe it. But the main problem is it is a fucking pain in the ass to work with.
Yes.
Because if you want to attach it to anything, especially vertically, mm-hmm. you've got to jam zip ties or whatever through it. And imagine that. Something that's designed to block weeds is kind of hard to puncture.
Yeah. It's kind of its job.
Yeah. And the other problem is, once you do all that, mm-hmm. it is not reusable.
It's not reusable, and I think it catches wind a fair amount.
Yeah. It does. That's a good point. But yeah, you found mm-hmm. online this fence privacy fabric. It's the stuff you've seen at like job sites.
Yeah.
Where they want to
construction sites.
Construction sites, yeah. Or they want like privacy for the job site.
Yeah.
They'll just hang this weird black cloth that Doesn't really block all the light.
No.
But it blocks a good bit and makes it difficult to see in. That stuff. You can get it online for about the same cost per linear foot as Weed Blocker, which that's the part that blew my mind.
Exactly.
Once I realized it was the same cost per linear foot, I was all in.
Yeah.
Because it's already grommeted. It's meant to be used vertically and in this capacity.
Yep.
And other than the fact we had to trim it, it's completely reusable.
Yeah.
The piece that we have wrapped in the Skeleton Haunted House, I'm 100% sure if we fold it up and store it properly, it'll be used next year for something.
Yeah, it will. It will go right back up.
Yeah.
Because it still looks great. It's got a loose weave to it.
Yeah.
So it's easy to put zip ties through if you need extra.
If you got to do it where there aren't grommets.
Yeah.
There are grommets on both top and bottom.
Yes.
But if you need it elsewhere.
Yeah. Like we like to zip tie it in the middle to make the rooms a little more defined.
Yeah.
And to hang stuff off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need to do it, it's easier to do it than with a Weed Blocker.
Yes. And I have put zip ties through some of the scrap pieces, pulled them tight, and then cut them off, and it doesn't look like it's been damaged at all. Like it never had a hole in it.
And here's the thing. We've done the Skeleton Haunted House structure before. The last time we did it with the Weed Blocker fabric, it took both of us working very coordinated several hours to get it covered.
Yeah, it was basically a full day job just to get it covered.
At least half a day job, at least.
Yeah.
With this, you covered the entire thing by yourself. I was off doing something else in the yard.
Yep.
I was running lights, I think.
Yeah.
You did the whole thing by yourself in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm there running the lights over the stakes, and I look up and I'm like, it's covered.
Yeah.
It was done. It was such a game changer for us. It saved so much time and will save us so much money in the long run. One thing I will advise, we have not tested it for fire retardancy.
Right.
I do not think it would be very fire retardant, so I would not use it in a haunt.
Right.
Especially in anywhere customers or actors might be.
Yeah.
But we did not test that because we didn't bring it into the haunt. We did bring one scrap in, but that was not in a place that was any danger.
No, it was just to cover a light leak, and it was way
up and out of the way, and it was
way away from anybody.
Nobody was going to be near it. No. But yeah, we did do that, but we didn't bring it into the haunt with any force.
No.
And so I would not encourage that, because also since it's not organic, you can't do the homemade fire retardant on it.
Right. Exactly.
So that's a problem too. But this stuff, in terms of the yard display, holy shit! Why didn't we think of this sooner? We're legit. I'm legit planning on tripling the amount we bought and doing this on the sides of the light tunnel.
Yeah, I would like to do that too, on at least one side.
Now, I think I want to do it on both. I've got ideas. And one of the reasons for that is you just mentioned that it's easy to zip tie through if you need to. We can hang more pumpkins that way.
We can. Well, we'll discuss this away from people's.
Yeah, we may be able to hang more pumpkins. How's that?
Yeah. Well, the idea of the light tunnel is so that you can look into the display.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to cover both sides.
That is also true.
That's my concern.
That's a fair point. And we might be able to find some way to compromise and work with it. I'm sure there's something here we can do. But yeah, fence privacy fabric, cannot recommend enough. Dear God, go get you some. Number 3. The Wyze cameras.
Yeah, we really should have reversed these.
Yeah, we should. Sorry, this is yours. Okay. I forgot. Oh my God, though. So,
you were dealing with cameras. You went to go and put out the old security cameras that we had, and that we liked.
Yeah, they were fine. They were adequate.
And you were getting frustrated.
Yeah,
because
basically in the 3 years since I last did anything with them, the company seems to have gone out of business. These were internet back-end cameras. They didn't have any local storage at all, and as a result, they were not working. We could not get them to work. And there was a firmware update, and when they would update, they would brick. It was just a frustrating mess. And so you ended up researching this a little bit.
Yes. I did a Google search. for the best security cameras of 2022.
I was at a point where I was so pissed off, I was just not going to have anything with it internet based. I was going to get another standalone system, and I was looking up DVR based ones.
Yeah.
And I found one that looked promising, admittedly. But you found these, and I realized after you sent me the link that they had continuous recording on a micro SD card.
Yeah.
And I went, holy shit, this may be the one. And they're $35 a piece, and actually right now they're on sale for $30 a piece.
Oh. So are we getting those extras?
We should. We absolutely should. These are amazing cameras. They are good quality video and audio.
Yeah. Like amazing quality. Like I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not expect that from a $35 camera.
And the thing about it is, it connects to the internet and can do upload motion tracking and things like that. And that's great and all. That's nice. But more important for us is they have continuous recording if you give it a micro SD card.
Yeah.
And it takes about half a gigabyte per hour is what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, that was amazing because we bought beefy micro SD cards.
We bought 64 gig ones.
Yeah, because we were expecting it to take a lot more to record, the 3 hours we were open.
That day. I was expecting to take them down, dump them every night. But no, it takes about half a gig for each hour. So those 64 gigs can do approximately 120 hours of continuous recording.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's a week, basically. The setup is fairly simple. I do have niggles with them. The setup with half the cams, because there's a point where the camera has to read a QR code on your phone. And this is the moment of trial, because some of the cameras, it's like, bing, oh yeah, I got that, no big deal. 3 of them are like that. 3, I'm like, now kiss.
Yeah.
Kiss. God damn it, kiss. Trying to make it read it. And I'm brightening my phone, I'm doing the angles, I'm doing everything I can. It just did not want to do it. But we did get it. Another niggle is the SD card formatting. This is a minor thing, but you have to know to do it.
Yeah.
The way Wise cameras can only work with SD cards formatted for FAT32, which is the old 32-bit Windows formatting, which is not a huge deal. Every computer, anything can format an SD card, can format it to FAT32, and it only takes a second. But most micro SDs, at least all that I know of, ship an exFAT, which is a different system. So what happened is I shoved these SD cards and some put them up, and could find out later that we don't have an SD card. What are you talking about? There's no SD card here. And I'm like, what the fuck? I fed you.
Yeah. Except for the one you didn't.
Yeah. So I had to look that up and figure out that problem. And then when you do continuous recording, it stores in 1 minute chunks.
Yeah.
So what you get is, one nice thing is that it automatically syncs the time with the atomic clock shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to set the time on them. But it'll say the date, you get a folder for the date, then a folder for each hour. So you get 24 folders in there. And then inside each hour folder is 61 minute videos.
Yeah.
Such a motherfuck. I mean, it's like my cheap shit dash cam has 20-minute chunks.
Yeah.
I don't understand why these Wise cameras, which actually cost more than my cheap shit dash cam, only do 1 minute chunks. And there were some confusing options. Some of the early videos we did have green boxes that highlight motion. Not a huge deal, but a little annoying. And the thing is, to remove those, you don't actually go into the recording settings, you go into the live stream settings. So some of the options could be, improved. But all that said, easily the best cameras we've had. I am so looking forward to using these again next year. We're buying more. We're buying some for Ellie's store. I'm going to be like Scrooge McDuck with Wise cameras by the time this is over. Just jump right into my Wise camera pit and swim around. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. Next item. Our actors.
Yeah.
This is a cheat, admittedly.
But
it's also well worth mentioning.
Yeah.
We had several new actors this year.
We did.
3 that have never been in the haunt before.
Right.
And they all did amazing.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's like, whenever you get a new actor, you never know if they're going to take to it like a duck to water, or if they're going to take to it like a duck to an oven, and just roast.
That's fair.
Because that's a T-shirt now, isn't it? Like a duck to an oven. Oh, but no, it's just. But yeah, all three of them took to it quite well. Kara loved her role.
Yeah.
I mean, and knowing that, she's a lawyer in a fairly high position one in her day job, and now she gets just to hang it, and she loves just being a troll hiding out in the ceiling, slamming and grating down on over people's heads.
Yeah.
She loved it. It was great. And you get to see, quiet kids kind of really come out of the shell.
Yeah.
And find that. And then you've got, it's so interesting. And then, like, even Rory, who I think struggled with the role some of the first night especially. Mm-hmm. I was watching some of the footage, and what's really interesting is if you watch the footage from her room, it doesn't look necessarily like she's working very well.
Yeah.
But if you watch the next room, and the way people are going, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm looking over their shoulder at the crazy lady.
Yeah.
You start to see that, yeah, she's connecting. She's reaching them.
Yeah.
She really was. And I think she did a great job. I think everyone there took to their parts very, very well. Mm-hmm. And had fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm looking forward to having all three back. Alex did great. He's gonna...
Yeah, I've been examining some of the footage from the room where he does the scare.
Yeah.
Because he does the distract in one room and the scare in another.
Yeah.
And his timing, you could tell like the first night, the first few groups, his timing was off.
Yeah.
But man, by the second night, he's just nailing them.
Yeah.
He's dropping the hammer perfectly.
Yeah.
Like no one can do better. No one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so excited about them coming back. Next item.
Okay.
The real star of the haunt this year.
At least the unintentional one. Dancing Santa.
We're all being replaced, and I include myself by Dancing Santa next year. Apparently, it's going to be peak scary.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, this one.
Okay. So, we realized fairly early on that we were going to have an actor shortage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, instead of me or someone playing with the bottles, let's just get a dancing Santa, face him against the wall, so all you see is his lab coat moving from behind, and let him go to town.
Yeah, the original thought was we were going to get a dummy. But then
we were going to get an actor originally.
Yeah, originally it was an actor, but when we realized there was no actor, we were going to get a dummy. And then instead of a dummy, we opted to get the Dancing Santa.
Yeah, because we wanted something that looked like it had some movement.
Yeah.
And could be real. And
I did a custom audio track of a guy grumbling and clinking bottles together. That was pretty fun, creepy too.
Yeah, everybody says that so it sounded correct on the phone. Fed through the speaker in the animatronic, it sounded like a very strained orgasm. That's what all of our actors were saying.
It just made me snort. A strained orgasm.
Yes.
Good night, everybody. Oh man, but it was. But the thing about it is, we were like, okay, maybe he'll hold their attention long enough for Rilla to do the scare from around the corner.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll hold. No. Dancing Santa was apparently the scariest thing a lot of these people had ever seen. Yeah. So all we did, like you said, is strip him naked. Going back to that strained orgasm. Put pants and a lab coat on him. And we tied like one of the lightest plastic flasks we had into his hand. And so he's there moving up and down and stuff and clinking the sound of clinking glasses. But yeah, so many people froze or just noped and ran.
Yeah. They either noped and ran or they surrendered.
Yeah, one girl, I shit you not, this was one of the wildest things I think I've ever heard happening. 5-room haunt. This is the 5th room.
Yeah.
The exit, literally there, and you know it's the exit.
Yeah.
We make it very clear that is the exit. That you're done.
Yeah.
Little girl gets into that room, sees Dancing Santa, says no, surrenders, and prefers to leave the long way back out the entrance.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened more than once. Because people would get to the end of the bed in the hotel scene, which is right before the Dancing Santa room, which is now its name, apparently. They would see it and they would just freeze up. They didn't want to go any further.
No. Now, the downside of Dancing Santa was he did break down.
He did.
On Halloween night, his hips stopped moving. He stopped booking. Now, we think something just simply slipped off a gear.
Yeah.
Because you could hear the motor firing for it.
Yeah.
And you still can. But his head kept moving. And that was weirdly creepier.
Yeah. It was enough. It was enough movement to fool enough people.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
But yeah, I think his full movement probably stopped because he might have gotten bumped or something. And it just enough to get him off
Something's
of his
off track.
Yeah.
And it's probably something we can fix, but the problem didn't begin till right at opening on Halloween, and we haven't looked at it since.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a feeling, if it did break down, it was a $99 prop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now that we know this works, we can invest in a higher quality one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
there will be a Dancing Santa next year somewhere. That is the point.
Yes. Yes, when trying to calm young children, don't tell them that it's just Santa.
That was worse. That was actively worse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Dancing Santa here. Ah!
Santa's scary. No. No one, I don't think anyone actually did that. We thought it.
God. Anyways, moving on. Dancing Santa will return in some form. Number 6, the ceiling scare. We have tried so many variations of ceiling scares over the years. Some have worked, some have not. This one that we have now, I think, is by far the most consistent in hitting.
Yeah, it is.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 3 different actors work it. Mm-hmm. You worked at Halloween, Leslie Ann worked it Saturday, and Carol worked it Friday.
Right.
And it worked for all 3.
Yes. Because it's easy to time because nobody looks up. Like, nobody looks up. And so everybody's just going through and they're looking straight ahead or down or whatever. Because the way the hallway's set up is that there are pipes at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So you know that that's where the scare is going to come from. But it doesn't. It comes from a few feet before that and in the ceiling. Up higher. Yeah. So nobody's looking at the hole in the ceiling. They're looking at the pipes and waiting for the person to pop out of there.
Yeah. And I think when we had to rebuild it after the first night, we made it better because now the impact is about 6 inches lower to stop. And the result is that now it really feels like it's coming down on your head, even though it's not. It's still about 8 feet in the air. It's not coming down on anyone's head, but it looks and feels like it is. And that new metal grating we have for the slam makes a god-awful noise.
Yeah, it's a lot sturdier than the antique wrought iron that we had.
That we've tried to fix with JB Weld.
Yeah, that was probably not the best idea.
No. But regardless, the new one works well. It makes a hell of a lot of noise, and it comes in what you swear, like, someone did it to me. I'm about 6 feet tall. Mm-hmm. It felt like it was right on my goddamn head.
Yes. I got all the parents and the tall people that were being really mean.
Yes. Revenge on the parents and her cruel.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, because parents were awful. Like, I forgot how bad parents are.
Oh, parents are the worst.
Yeah.
Parents are shit.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't allow screaming kids.
Yeah.
And
we offer low scare options, too.
We do. And we try to do low scares.
And the thing I always do, if I see a kid who's crying in the queue line, I'll get down on one knee and I'll tell the kid, no, look, no one's going to make you do it.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do it, you really don't have to. I'm not going to make you go in. But if you do it, when you come out the other side, think about how brave you're going to feel. And one of two things happen. The kid either nopes out firmly or goes, "You're right. I'm going to do this."
Yeah.
One or the other. Either way, problem solved.
Yeah.
Either solution is perfectly acceptable. So yeah, but yeah, parents were the worst at pushing kids into this stuff. They want to see their little shit stains tormented.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I mean, maybe this is why I'm not a parent myself.
Yeah. Well, this is why I was like really happy to be able to scare some of the parents.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going through on Halloween and seeing some more of that footage.
Yeah.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got to really start doing that because, yeah. Anyway, the ceiling scare will be there next year. So it may move.
Yeah, it may move. It may be implemented differently.
Or it may be implemented the same, but not in the center of a hallway. Maybe in a gap between two rooms.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's going to be interesting. But there will be that attack again.
Yeah,
I can pretty much guarantee
this year
it.
we're doing a big tear out.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's coming out.
Yeah, Christmas break is set aside for emptying the whole garage, pretty much.
Yeah,
as much of it as we can.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And number 7.
Yeah.
Final one. This one's a mundane one. It feels silly talking about it, but it's true.
Yeah, we got new walkie-talkies, and we got more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, Jonathan and I were the only ones with walkie-talkies.
Yeah. And honestly, normally, one of the things that will be different next year is that was kind of silly because we were on opposite sides of a wall. We could communicate just fucking fine without them.
Yeah.
The only time walkie-talkies were needed is if we were on break and I was keeping an eye out for cars or keeping an eye out for people pulling up.
Yeah.
That's the only time it was really needed.
Mm-hmm.
But we expanded the uses here. We went from 2 to 4. We had 2 in the front of house, 1 given to Ellie and inside the actual house, not the haunt, and you inside the haunt. I think we're going to expand it to 6.
Yeah.
All the people that had one this year still get one. But the trick or treat table will have one.
Yeah.
They can fight over who the fuck operates it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And we'll give another one to a second in command or something like that inside the haunt.
Exactly.
Just greatly improved communication. I need an earpiece so I can hear it better.
Right.
But that is some...
Yeah, because that was one thing. If you were the only... Because I'm pretty sure that what happened on Halloween night, I had to make a repair during show.
Yeah.
And I said, can I get a few minutes?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you didn't hear that.
I did not.
And I'm pretty sure because we had other people with walkie-talkies, they told you that I needed a couple minutes.
Yeah, Farrell actually.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, Ellie told me.
Okay.
Ellie told me that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah. It was a minor repair.
Yeah.
It wasn't even really a repair. It was a fixture.
Well, okay, so we built an extra panel because I had this insane idea in my head and wouldn't let it go because that's how I get. And it wound up being not needed. And so I stored it in one of the scare areas where the actor is at. It did not affect me when I was in there because I didn't touch it. But the other actor who worked Halloween night kept bumping it and it would fall over towards them.
And part of it is he's a bigger dude.
Yeah.
I think he may have eaten up a lot more of the space back there.
Yeah.
You know, we had a much bigger body back there with that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that might have had something to do with it. That and he was, judging from the footage, he was really slamming that motherfucker. He was going crazy, and he is ridiculously strong.
Yeah. But anyway, so that helped, and it also helped a few times I needed something from inside the house, and I could just have Ellie go and get it and bring it to me. And so it really helped to be able to communicate with multiple people. Yeah.
And we need to expand that, I think. Cause and I agree, because it was Elizabeth said, we need one.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely fucking right.
Yeah.
Next year you will.
Yeah.
That easy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely 110% right. You need one. We didn't think of it. We were thinking of the operation of the regular haunt. We weren't thinking of the trick-or-treat line. You're absolutely right. You need to.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to put more emphasis on how we think about the trick or treat, not just give it an afterthought.
Yeah, we really do. And I'm realizing that because a lot of people, we got a lot of trick or treaters.
Yeah, we did. More than the last year we were open.
Yeah.
More than the last couple of years.
I think we got more trick or treaters in 2018. Absolutely. 2018 was a shit year for trick or treating for us.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was because the people who come to our haunt have aged up.
Yeah.
They've been getting consistently older. Mm-hmm. And now I think they've gotten to a point where now they're old enough, they have their own kids.
Exactly.
We've come full fucking circle on this.
I know this because I met some of them last year.
I know, and I wish they would shut the fuck up about how we were their first haunted house and now they're taking their kids.
Oh, but that is something that happened, though. One of our very first actors who we lost several years ago.
Oh, yeah, we lost like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago, something like that, yeah.
Has 3 kids now.
And I'm fucking real, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not taking this news well, okay?
Yeah. And he and his wife brought the whole family through. It was the kids' first haunted house. So we're very, honored to be their first haunted house.
Yeah, that
was sweet.
And we are so many people's first haunted house. And this is the reason why I think this kind of home haunting is important to the haunted attraction industry.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people, their first haunted house isn't an Erebus. It's not a haunted overload. No. It's not the 13th gate. It's not
usually.
Not usually. Usually you go to that house.
Yeah.
You know the house. We're that house. You're listening to this. You're probably that house. You know what I mean. You go to that house and then you get the bug and then you drop the $30 on the 13th gate tickets. Then you go and see what the big bad professional haunts can do. You're either going to a home haunt or to a charity haunt.
Yeah.
One or the other typically is your first dipping your toe in. And I think it's important that the buy-in for a haunted attraction not be a $35 ticket at a mega haunt.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You got to have somewhere to start that's a little more on the affordable and lower risk side.
Yeah.
Anyway, but those are the 7 things that we're new this year that we're keeping.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, most of the things we tried and experimented with this year that were new to us worked out great. Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of surprised at our batting average because I've already started on the list of things that were changing. Most of those are things either that were done very spur of the moment and weren't planned this year, mm-hmm. and we're not making that mistake again, mm-hmm. or they're things we've been doing for years that we've just kind of realized it's got to go.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah. Past time, man. It's got to go.
Yeah.
It's those are the 2 things. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one next episode where we talk about the things that were definitely changing. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about that episode. And I'm actually, even though we're talking about quote-unquote failures and lessons learned and whatnot, it's still a very upbeat episode, the way it looks. Because, this is stuff that we see ways to improve, and we're excited about fixing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I'm just as happy about the things we're changing as the things we're keeping.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the way we learn and grow is by studying failures and weak points.
Yeah, if you ain't growing, if you ain't learning, and you ain't growing, why the fuck are you still haunting?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no point.
No.
Anyways, on that bombshell, thank you very much for spending the past 50 or so minutes with us. We greatly appreciate it. Listen to us opine about our haunted attraction. Definitely check out more of what we do at hauntweekly.com or Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/HauntWeekly is the YouTube channel. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts from. We're in pretty much all the places. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, etc., etc., etc. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this has been Haunt Weekly, episode 362, almost said 262, discussing 7 new things we are keeping from 2022. We will see you all next week with the Dark Twin.